So they had, like, in this one arena building, all these tables set up in, like, a big, huge rectangle. And all the calls were, like, displayed out on them. You could pick them up, man. This was a little sketchy because people were picking them up, blowing on these calls.
Oh, no.
I mean, it wasn't just turkey stuff. It was duck calls.
Yeah.
It was all kinds of stuff. But if you made one yourself, or I guess as a company, whatever, individual, you could enter it into it. And they had little QR codes with, like, if you thought it was a good call, you could vote on it, I guess is what that was done.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were auctioning those off or what they were doing with them at the end. I didn't stick around. I just went and looked at them. But that was cool because that building wasn't too crowded, and you could actually go in there and see everything that was in there and put your hands on it. And then there was a few people, like vendors in there too, selling their calls and stuff. But that was cool. They had some art. They had art contests, turkey art and different stuff where they were voting on. So they did the best painting or whatever. So that was some cool stuff to see. All right, now, Mikey, I like that sound, man.
It's
You
getting
know
that
what that
time,
means?
man.
Turkey season, yeah. What you got there, old push-pull?
Man, I got some more push-pull calls.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about them later on. I'm here. I was out last week. I missed the rabbit hunting stories. I wish I had to go back and check that podcast.
Yeah, you missed out on that. We had a guy come in here that was a rabbit man. He's got dogs and rabbit hunting for a long time. And anyways, he come in here and talked to us about a little bit of that. But yeah, you missed out on that.
I hate that. That'd have been cool. I'd like to heard them stories.
Yeah. So
I went to the NWTF.
I was going to say, you went to the NWTF. So let's talk about that a little bit.
That's what we're going to get into today. That's what we're going to start off with anyway, just kind of a recap. Because this was, for any of y'all that don't know, the NWTF has a national convention in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's been there for years. I'd heard about it from some friends and heard how awesome it was, and we know people personally that go up there to Nashville every year and just kind of make a weekend trip about it. Well, this year it was on Valentine's, so I conned Shellen to go, and that was our Valentine's Day.
You bribe her up there?
Yeah, bribed her up, but we took Michael with us too, so it was kind of a family thing. But so we decided we were going to NWTF just to check it out. I didn't have, we didn't have a booth or anything like that. I mean, we know people that have booths. I mean, just from what we've been dabbling in the industry and seeing some friends, and I was hoping to do that. And I did get to do a meet and greet one day at the AOB booth, but we'll get into that too.
Anybody recognize you?
A few people. No, yeah, it was a lot of stopping and taking pics, but getting there was the hardest part for me. Man, we ran into traffic. It's supposed to be about a 3.5 hour drive from here. I mean, you've been and stayed at Opryland before. You and your wife and your friends go up there just for Christmas just about every year.
Yeah.
So you know how big and how crowded it is.
Yeah.
Well, imagine that. I mean, it's massive, but then the crowd was crazy. But it took us about 6.5 hours to make that trip because we kept running into, 18-wheeler had went across the median at one place just right north of here before we ever got going good.
That's what sucks is when it happens right outside of when you get on the interstate.
Yeah. And
you're just leaving home.
We sat there it was about an hour and a half where I couldn't take it anymore. Shell could tell I was starting to get a little, I don't mind driving and, as long in heavy traffic, as long as you're moving, but when it's dead stop and everybody's just trying to shuck around you for one spot, knowing they ain't going nowhere and getting nowhere
fast.
Getting nowhere. And so finally I was like, man, I know this stretch of road, and there's a old spot where the police officer stood up there. Said, if I can make it to that spot, I'll double back and go back and hit 69 and go on around, you know? And so we finally got up there, and I couldn't take it anymore, man. I whipped it over in the gravel and ran up there, and 2 or 3 cars followed me. I fishtailed it around that little turn and got going back the other way. And after an hour and a half, it couldn't take no more.
You could breathe in. They got on that gas pedal a little bit.
So we backtracked a little, and I hammered down, but we got up on 40 and the same daggum thing, man. They had a truck wrecked up there, and it was blocked. They actually detoured us, took us down through Lexington, Tennessee, and back some other roads. It was another hour out of the way where we had to go, so that delayed us. And then you get to Nashville, and you know what Nashville traffic's like.
Oh, yeah.
But we made it. And so we got there, and I was like, man, I can't wait to jump out and park this thing. And I wasn't going to drive the rest of the weekend because everything was there. And I knew if we went downtown or something, we could just.
Did y'all stay in the hotel?
We did. We stayed at the actual Opryland Hotel. A lot of people, there's hotels up there. A lot of people stay at. Some people Airbnb that I talked to. But I mean, there's not a room in the place vacant. It's jam packed, and you know how that place is.
Oh yeah,
but it's cool. I mean, I had been up there and stayed at that hotel when I was a kid, and then we went back and did a Christmas. No, I think we did a Christmas and took our son and my parents and stuff like that. It's probably been 7-8 years ago, and it was so packed then. I was like, man, I just didn't realize how big this place was. I still didn't see the whole thing. Like, so we were in the hotel.
You walk around the actual hotel trying to see all the planetariums and all that?
Well, do you know where the waterfall bar is?
Yeah.
If I knew how to find that.
You found that.
Found that.
Dropped a pin on that one.
You know where the sports bar is?
Yeah.
Found that. And there's all kinds of stuff. There's, people sitting around in the lobby playing music, and there's cool places to hang out. There are restaurants, and I think the only restaurant there that we actually ate at was the sports bar, though, for lunch one day.
Honestly, dude, we've been up there. Think I've been up there I don't know how many times. It used to be our yearly Christmas trip that we made because the mall's right over there, do our Christmas shopping. But that Fuse, I think it's called Fuse Bar that's in there.
Yeah, that's the one we went to.
They've got the best food in there out of everything else, and there's a lot of other restaurants and stuff like that in there. But that place was always the one that we kind of gravitated to, plus they had sports going on and stuff like that. So you got, something to watch, but they had really good food.
That was what we were doing. We were just trying to find a place to duck in, had some decent bar food, and it was good.
Yeah.
They had a Mexican joint. I think they had an Italian joint, sushi place. They had their Jack Daniels. I didn't go in there. I never ate there. And then they got a steakhouse. So you got options.
Yeah.
But man, I'm gonna tell you what. You better take out a loan to go to that Opryland. Everything was expensive. I mean, a bottle of water, $8 for like that bottle you got sitting right there.
Yeah,
$8. Kroger bottle of water, a beer. Like I bought. So the cool thing was we were on the second floor, and our floor led out to like the top of where the convention was. So we didn't have to take an elevator. You could just walk around the hallway and come out there. And they had like this little music area set up with a full bar, and that's where they were selling tickets for like gun raffles and stuff like that. It was kind of a hangout spot outside the convention area, and so we hung out there some. But man, $9.25 Busch Light is what for a can of Busch Light, 12-ounce can.
$9.25 for a Busch Light.
You don't think that's boning, man?
How much for Coronas and stuff like that? They had been $12.
I got one mixed drink. I was like, I'll get me a whiskey. I'll get me a little bourbon and $25. One shot and measured. I was like, my God, we got to find someplace else to hang out. So that's this place.
Yeah.
A man to go broke.
Yeah.
And that was before we ever got into like the sports show. So the way the NWTF does it, the big draw is the sports show. That's where they have everybody I don't know if everybody, it felt like everybody in the hunting industry was there. Because this was the biggest one of these I'd ever been to. I've been to, some conventions,
where we've been to some. And
those were more like supplier conventions, though. You go there to look at the new stuff, place an order. It's not near the hustle bustle crowd, social influencers, all the people there. Just so many people. They estimated it was like nearly 100,000 people was there over 3 days.
In that convention center?
In that convention center. That's how big it was.
Golly.
And so we were there on a Thursday, and that was the day. Thursday's the day to go. I don't know if they open on Wednesday for the public. I think that's still part of their setup day.
Yeah.
But Thursday's the day to go because you can actually walk the floor, and you're not just caught in this sea of people that stop in the middle to, talk to somebody or blow a call or whatever. Because that's really what it was. The way the aisles were set up, it's so tight that once 2 or 3 people stop to talk or look at something, it just jams the whole thing up.
Yeah, that's always been a problem when somebody that's, that they recognize they want to take a picture with. Yeah. It's always a wad of folks get jam up the freaking aisle. So now you got to kind of duck off through somewhere else and go around or whatever.
Well, I figured that part out.
Did you?
I knew what doors I could slip in and out if I needed to get to, Mossy Oaks booth or whatever, some of our buddies' places. I finally figured all that out to avoid that crowd, because if you just got off in there and was walking the aisles, it would take you all day to see one side of it. Mm. It was that crowded. But when we got there, they have the event space. That's where all the manufacturers are and stuff like that. But it's a whole lot more than that. There's, they have a call making contest. They have a taxidermy contest. They have an outside area where Bass Pro was set up with like there's side-by-sides and tracker boats and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You could actually drive those around this little obstacle course. They had another building where they were doing this dog demos, hunting dog demos, stuff like that. Different kennels came. And then that was where the custom call making contest was.
So explain that. What are they making?
So they had every version from a friction call to a slate call to a glass call to mouth calls, diaphragms.
They made them. I mean, they had categories.
Yeah. It was all categories. And the way it was, when you went in, you kind of signed up for this thing, and I guess the people got to vote on it. So they had, like, in this one arena building, all these tables set up in like a big, huge rectangle. And all the calls were like displayed out on them. You could pick them up, man. Well, this was a little sketchy because people were picking them up, blowing on these calls.
Oh, no.
I mean, it wasn't just turkey stuff. It was duck calls.
Yeah.
It was all kinds of stuff. But if you made one yourself, or I guess as a company, whatever, individual, you could enter it into it. And they had little QR codes with, like, if you thought it was a good call, you could vote on it, I guess is what that was done.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if they were auctioning those off or what they were doing with them at the end. I didn't stick around. I just went and looked at them. But that was cool because that building wasn't too crowded, and you could actually go in there and see everything that was in there and put your hands on it. And then there was a few people, like vendors in there too, selling their calls and stuff. I took a lot of those people. But that was cool. They had some art. They had art contests, turkey art and different stuff where they were voting on. So they did the best painting or whatever. So that was some cool stuff to see. And then a whole nother part of it was the seminars. Every day they ran seminar schedule. And a couple of the ones I sat in, Primos did one about, it's kind of like the origin of turkey calls.
Yeah.
Turkey calls from days past. And that was cool.
Will
wasn't there, but what's his brother? Our cousin.
Jimmy?
Jimmy was there.
Primos.
And Brad. Was it Brad Ferris?
Ferris.
Yeah, he was there. Another guy was there. And they had a couple older guys that come in, and they were just talking about, how turkey calls kind of got started and how people started making them and the different types and all that. Man, that was interesting to me, seeing just the history of it all.
Oh yeah.
And then they had different stuff for kids going on. They had kids clinics. They called them Jake clinics or something like that. And there was stuff where they learn them how to make a call and, just different things involved around turkey hunting, which all that stuff was really good. I mean, it was more than just going to a trade show to be seen.
Yeah.
But then when you got to the trade show part, that's where you spent the money. Because all that stuff's included. All the seminars, the shows. I mean, they have like special breakout stuff for, like, I guess they run a banquet 2 or 3 times a day. You know how we go to turkey banquets around here? Because they would have a lunch banquet where they were going to have a dinner and an auction or something like that. Then they'd have a brunch and they'd have a dinner. I didn't get tickets to any of those. I don't know if you had to. I didn't really check into them. I knew that probably wouldn't do any of them, so I didn't go to any of them. So I didn't see everything. But
so they're running completely different, like, little
events
off to the side that you can go in and do too.
Yeah, too the whole time. Because, I mean, this place is big, man. It's huge. There's always something going on. And then out in the hallways, you've got all these guys that are, I guess they're selling hunts. It's different outfitters.
Yeah.
I saw everything from going to Africa to duck hunts to gator hunts to, of course, turkey hunts, bird hunting. You name it, they had it there. You could go talk to those people and book hunts, I guess, if you were into that.
Book one?
No, I didn't talk to any of those guys. I probably should have, just see how it's going, because but I didn't. I didn't recognize any of them.
I'd be curious as, running prices on some of that stuff.
Yeah, what it costs, I'm sure. Well, I mean, some of them I saw, it's like, man, you could go kill, it was like 7 different African animals for $15,000 or something like that. And it was, some of them had their prices posted on a board that I saw, which was pretty cool, I guess, if you're into that. I don't know. There's plenty of stuff over here in North America.
I ain't got no desire to go shoot nothing in Africa.
Yeah, I don't know. I've actually met a guy that loves it. Boy, he was my guide when I went out to Texas there. When he tells me about it every time. He's trying to get me to go, and I was like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff over here.
A lot of stuff that'll eat you in Africa.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'd hate to be out there trying to shoot a gazelle or something, or something I could eat. And there's a predator over in the thicket over there looking at the same one I'm trying to get. Yeah, I have no desire to go to Africa. But it is cool to see some of those things that, if you don't get a chance to do stuff, because not everybody has everything that we have. So, sometimes you have to, find somebody to take you do this stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Not everybody's got private land or access to public land. So a lot of people do hunt. I mean, those hunts, they sell them for a reason. People go. that was, there's a bunch of controversy over, well, I don't know if it's controversy. I just saw a bunch of negative posts after the NWTF. And I guess it was, I don't know if it's people that went and were just complaining. But the number one thing was the crowds and the social media people there, and people that were there just weren't even turkey. They were saying they weren't even turkey killers. They're.
Oh, yeah. I did see some of that.
Even like you had Mike Waddell come out and do it. Did you see that little video?
I seen Waddell, and I seen Bo Brooks may not have been about the NWTF. It may have been something
else.
Yeah,
his was about kids, and I don't understand that at all. Like, man, you see videos, and whether you like social media or not, that doesn't mean you have to get on there and just badmouth somebody or put somebody down. Because what he was doing, like, he's with Power Calls. He makes his own line of calls. And I guess he's big into getting kids involved with it. And we're all about that too, man. You want to bring that next generation up. So he would stop and make a video of these kids, and they look at him as a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
That's somebody famous for a kid to come up and see. They idolize him. And so they would want to blow their turkey calls for him. And he'd record them, once I don't know if he did all of them, but I saw some of his videos over that course of that week where they were, he was posting kids that sounded pretty good on call. Yeah. And people were just in the comments.
Just bashing them.
Just tearing these kids up. And I guess he got fed up with it. And he was like, man, I ain't,
He did. I've seen the video because he was telling him if you're going to do that, you're not going to do it on this site. I'm going to wind up blocking you, and you're not going to do it.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, because I don't get why somebody would do that, one thing. But there was a lot of, to me, it was like throwing shade or hate towards the NWTF convention because, I mean, yeah, it's crowded. Yeah, everything's expensive. But, man, is it good for turkey hunting? Absolutely. I mean, where else can I go and see all these people that I look up to? I mean, people that I never would have the chance to meet one-on-one. Well, you could walk right up and talk to them.
There. Yeah. I mean, you're looking at, Primos and Mossy? Eddie Salter and Mossy Oak and, some of these, all these people that they were the ones that they pretty much built that industry, and without the camouflage that they make, what are you setting in?
That's right.
Without the calls they make, what are you calling with? So all these people are up there, and they do have influencers and things like that are up there, but and they may not be, great turkey callers or turkey hunters, but still they're influencers. They're just out there, selling the brand, and they're good people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think anybody was there trying to just take advantage of nobody.
No.
But I mean, you did notice, like, man, right off the bat, and my wife did too. She knows nothing about turkey hunting, had never been to a show like that, and she was just amazed by all the young folks there that were into it. She's like, wow, do you see what's going on here, man? I thought this was just a bunch of old guys like you and Mikey, that happened to like turkey hunting, just a bunch of old rednecks. That's not what it was, man. There's a whole generation of people getting into turkey hunting because of, and I guess social media has a lot to do with that, because you saw little young girls dressed up to the nines and showing what their outfits on their social medias and being there and being seen. So it was kind of like the cool place to be to some people.
Yeah.
I mean, so you could get out of it what you wanted. I mean, I ain't even talked about the calling contest yet. I'd never been to one of those on that level. It was, oh man, unbelievable. You could go in there, like I went, you watch some of the preliminary stuff, and then you start hearing guys. I was like, well, I'm going to get Mikey signed up for this next year. I know he sound as good as that guy. But then the last day, they had broke it down to like the top 12, and then the number one guy from last year came back. And you sit in that room, and it's jam-packed. I mean, everybody wants to see the last day. That's the grand championship, And when those guys come out and they do their little scenarios, you close your eyes, you think it's cool. The way they can throw that sound in that room, because they're not amplifying it any way. It's just the way they're doing it with their voice.
Pitching it with their voice and their tones.
Man, they can make it sound like that bird's coming from all different angles and different sounds.
So what were some of the scenarios that they gave them to do?
So they had to do, I think it was 9 scenarios, and I'm not going to remember all 9 of them. But the first one was like, hen wakes up on a limb, does a fly down cackle, and then calls to the flock or whatever. And so it's something like that.
Yeah.
So they have to hit those 3 points. And they get 6 minutes each go. So you get a total of 18 minutes. So you do your first 3 calls, and you look at that judge, and you tell him I'm done with that one, and he tells you the next scenario. And it was like, I forget exactly what it was. It might have been a raspy hen. there were several, I don't remember what all they were.
Yeah.
But it was cool because you got to see all these different notes. So they were trying to
get changing calls? I mean, are they using different stuff when they're doing the scenarios, or is it just all mouth call mainly? Or
this was all mouth. The Grand Champion. I think they broke it out in styles of calls.
Okay.
So you had your friction calls, you had your mouth calls. Mainly I saw that the championships was all diaphragm calls, from what I could tell.
Yeah.
And I was surprised, but even in like one scenario, they might use 2 or 3 calls. A lot of them brought out a little box with them or something and laid it on a little table where they had a bottle of water.
Yeah.
They could go back to that in between and swap out what they were doing. And some of them would have, during the same 3 scenarios, they would swap out.
Yeah. I don't know if I could call for that long of a scenario. Like you had 6 minutes.
You could tell it's like a show that they've rehearsed. I'm knowing they rehearse what they're going to do because they've probably been practicing this all year. But it was awesome. And the guy that won, young guy, Hunter Wallace, he calls for Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
Our friends up in Somerville. He's only 24 years old, man. And that dude, he could call. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was.
I'm not no competition caller.
Oh, I definitely ain't.
I'm a woodsman caller. We call up turkeys to shoot them. Yeah, I ain't winning no contest.
I don't know. It sounded good. I don't know. I mean, I guess some guys are turkey killers too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. It's putting on a show just for that.
It is,
because you're mimicking, the different tones, the different sounds of what. And if you've never actually seen a wild hen, come down, or a gobbler come down, and the noises that they make are being close enough, sometimes you can't hear what they're doing.
Yeah, because
they're so low of a tone. And
that's how it started out. When they woke up on the limb, I was like, "What? I know I hear something. What is it?" And that was just they were controlling that volume of it so much.
Yeah, because they're just like us when they wake up. You don't get up, you just
fired up,
blaring, and you kind of get up and you soft spoken, or you may not even speak much at all.
Mm-hmm.
And turkeys are the same way. So it's cool to watch those scenarios. And if you've never seen turkeys do that, they mimic them pretty close.
Oh yeah,
they're right on top.
Oh, they have their hands out there like they talking, moving their heads around. But see, the judges are up under that stage, and how would you judge that possibly? Because there was 13 of them that called.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not that much difference that's coming from me, a very, very novice turkey hunter, and especially never been to a calling contest to hear it. I was like, man, how do they judge this?
It'd have to be just like,
because I didn't hear anybody
mess
up. I didn't hear anybody mess up.
Yeah. It would. I'm sure it'd be just like barbecue contests. Your winner is going to be the dude that has the least deductions.
Yeah,
but he's going to be almost perfect. So even though everything else is good this year, nothing's bad. It's just
a little bit better. I guess
this guy's just
you're looking for a reason to nick him.
You're looking for a reason to ding him. Well, he messed up there.
Yeah,
so he gets a mark and stuff like that. It'd probably be just like barbecue.
I would like to see what it sounded like from their perspective, because they were like, it's almost like they had a duck blind built on the front of the stage, and they got in it and faced the stage, but they ain't looking at nothing. They can't see. All they can do is hear. And the guys that starts out, they're always like right over them, almost calling down and throwing their voice to where it sounds like it's coming around. It's got to be wild sounding up under there, because I was in the midways back in the room.
So they do the mouth calls, and then what do? They switch to they do slate call.
In that one, I didn't see anybody running those. They were all mouth callers.
Okay,
but they did have different divisions and different age groups. So it's 3 days of calling too. So it's a lot going on there. We'll have to get somebody to come in here that was actually see if we can get somebody that was in the contest or knows a little bit more about the calling aspect of it to break that down for us. Because
that would be interesting for them to. I mean, how long? I mean, you gotta practice probably. I mean, every day. It's just like anything else. Like you're constantly. You got that mouth call in your mouth.
Yeah, constantly.
Live with it. And I wonder how many you wear out.
Well, I mean, a lot of those guys, I think, are call makers, too. I mean, they're like, they're big time. It was a big time.
I'm glad we don't own a turkey calling company. Can you imagine sitting here and listening to that all day long, just nonstop?
When I went back into the hotel at night, I could still hear turkey calls in my head. Because no matter where you went, there was turkey calls. I mean, and duck calls. I mean, there's just many people blowing duck calls there as it is turkey calls. But it was, I mean, it was crazy. Like, and I don't know, like if you happened to be there and weren't staying for the convention, if you just was there, oh, you probably thought these people were nuts. Because you know how they have those interfacing like atrium rooms with balconies and stuff. Oh man, at night there'd be people out there hoot owling all night, running.
Oh, down in the atrium?
Yeah, on the different rooms at different levels.
Oh, I got you.
I mean, you can just hear it constantly.
Oh, they're practicing getting
them
bought them a new call.
And then kids are blowing them everywhere. You know, they're all walking around with them. I mean, it's just that part was like, man, Shell's like, God, how do you stand this? Oh, she was not impressed with the turkey calling contest. Like me, I'm sitting up there excited, you know, trying to see what they're doing. Oh, that sounds good. Tapping her, you know.
Yeah.
And she's over there about half asleep. It's like, can we go? She ended up wanting to go back to the dogs and watch them run. So I was like, you got to do what you want to do. I'm going to sit here and listen to these guys. I think.
Did you hear a sound or a call that you'd never heard before?
I don't know. I mean, so some of the scenarios were fall hens doing stuff.
Yeah.
And those were sounds that I don't hear that. I mean, I don't really know that turkeys make because I don't pay attention to them that much in the fall, you know?
Yeah.
That was some of the ones that were different. I think it was the middle scenario where they did that. And then the last one was kind of like the fired up hen.
Yeah.
And, you know, going into more spring sounds, which is like all of them. I was like, yep, that sounds like a real turkey right there. Sounds just like a real turkey.
Yeah.
But some of that, like, you know, some of the kiki stuff and some of that fall sounds that those birds make, I'm not real in tuned on if it sounds like a real turkey or not on those. I mean, it did to me. I would have said, yeah, it sounds like one because I don't know. But somebody with a tuned ear, maybe that's a place where they were separating them because we don't really call turkeys in the fall.
No.
And I mean, you call a lot. You make any fall sounds that you think?
No,
not really.
No, I mean, but birds make. Oh, they make sounds that you just you don't hear, you know. And that's why I always say, you know, when you're calling and stuff like that, don't get frustrated if you mess up because you know they're just like us, you know. We stutter and when we're trying to talk or get nervous about something, and you know our voice changes or cracks or something like that when you get nervous. And birds are the same way. I mean, in the springtime when they're competing for, you know, a gobbler or something like that, they're not all going to be perfect, you know, so you don't necessarily have to be either.
That's one thing I picked on listening to all these. And that's why I said, you know, you sounds good. I mean, I can make some sounds that sound, you know, as very similar to some of those sounds. Now, I ain't saying that you could I guess my problem with it is like, man, I've been working, you know, keeping these mouth calls in my mouth, trying to get used to making some noise. Well, not only do you have to learn how to make that noise with that call in your mouth, you got to learn to talk to that turkey. Mm-hmm. And that's where I don't like the situations where you use the certain call or how loud you should be on it or when. I mean, my biggest thing is I just need to shut up. If that gobbler's coming, I don't need to try to finesse him. Yeah, it's like, let that dude. If he's going away from you, don't try to chase that one. Go find you one that's coming to you because some of them I heard this old guy say it. He said some birds just won't be killed. Yeah, that's the one that you want to hunt. Like if you're hunting these birds that take off on you, it sounds like he's getting a little further. He might gobble at you. He ain't cutting you off. You know, when you run that, when I pull out my glass call or something and I can hit that, and before I've quit doing what I'm going to do, and I hear that joker gobble, I was like, man, that joker's interested there.
Yeah.
And then if you can make him do it again, I'm going to shut up. I ain't going to screw it up. No. I'm going to try to be still at that point.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing about, you know, it ain't nothing bad about it, but, you know, you watch these turkey calling contests, you know, and if you see those, I mean, you're not necessarily that's not your call sequence in the woods when you're calling turkey.
Yeah.
You're not
doing that wake up.
You're making those noises, but you're not, you know, you might do that, you know, and I have done that before. You know, if we got a gobbler roosted close enough, you know, where I know he can hear us, we will do some soft calling and stuff like that. But, you know,
to wake him up, try to fly him.
Yeah, just let him, you know, you want to try to imitate that as close as possible. That makes him feel comfortable because so many, you know, you don't know how many people have called at that bird. So, you know, if you do the fly down,
he may have heard the night in hell, the rolling.
That's right. So you try to give him something to make him feel comfortable and let him know, yeah, it's a real hen over here. You know, you do that, you know, you fly down. We do scratching.
Yeah.
You know, that was something I had never used for a long time. And
just scratch around the leaves.
Just scratch around in the leaves. Even when you're sitting there calling, you just kind of pet your hand in the leaves like a turkey. Like imagine a turkey or a chicken scratching out in the woods. You know, You see if you've ever been around them, you see them. They just kind of kick the dirt and scratch a little bit. Just the most realistic sounds you can make is, what you want to try to do. Try to make him as comfortable as possible. Because if you just call at him and don't do any of that, you can still call him up, but you got a better chance when you're being realistic and making those other noises besides just calling. But yeah, I mean, when you get in, you got to know you got to know when to shut up. That's one of the biggest things, patience. Even though you may be a great caller, an excellent caller, you got to know when to be quiet. Don't say nothing else. Let it go. And, that's turkey hunting there.
Yeah.
That's turkey calling.
Yeah.
That's turkey hunting is knowing like, oh, you want to call bad because you want to hear him gobble. You want him to gobble all the way to you.
Well, that's why I got all this stuff with me, man. I
got all this crap and I've called for 30 seconds. Now I can just leave it here and don't use it. Yeah.
Bring a glass, a slate, a box, 3 or 4 mouth calls. You got a crow call, maybe a gobble tube. Yeah. You got all this stuff. I want to play with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why they sell it. So people like me will buy it.
I mean, you do use a lot of that stuff too, though. I mean, because I've had birds where they wouldn't answer me on a mouth call, and they may not answer me on the box call when I call, but then I'd pick a slate up and call on it, and bang, he would answer. And like, why did he answer that? I don't know if it was the tone, the raspiness of it or whatever, something he liked about it. And he was like, hey, I like that. Talk to me, girl. So then you hit him again and he hits it again. Well, shoot, here we go. Because I have been through every call in my bag.
Oh, I've been with you. Well, they wouldn't, we went around trying to locate one. We was using all the mouth calls you had. And finally pulled out a box call and they wanted to hear that box call.
Yep.
That's when they struck up and we killed that bird. He wouldn't come to those mouth calls at all, but he came to that box call that day. I think that was probably the second bird I ever killed. And we didn't give up. It was after lunch or right at lunchtime one day. We were just trying to find something to hunt.
Yeah.
And that dude, he liked it. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I think it was two birds too. And another
two birds. We called 2 of them up. But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like it happens. That's why you got a variation of calls and things like that when you vest, That's why you got several different mouth calls. They all do something different. They sound different, from brand to brand. I mean, I don't know that I've ever called on. They've sounded really similar, but not the same. Each mouth call, depends on the thickness of the latex they use, how much air you had to put over it, and all mouth calls are different. Some of them are really thin, they all make a different tone. And
What's the loudest one to you?
The loudest mouth
being
call?
At this convention, those daggum trumpet calls, man.
Oh.
You get somebody hollering on one of those.
Oh, them old suck calls or whatever they call
it.
You're talking about the little round.
It's a pan with like a piece of latex over the end of it.
Yeah.
It just looks like one of those Primo's bleak calls, the can. Yeah. It looks like one of those.
Just got a diaphragm stuck at the end of it.
You blowing that thing, man, you can hear that thing across that whole convention.
Yeah. I had one of those for a little while. I wasn't crazy about it.
The trumpet's like more like a wing. It's like a I guess say artificial or acrylic wing bone type call.
Yeah.
They Rolling Thunder actually released one of those at the show. Them jerkers sold out so fast. They only had so many limited number ones, but they think they still sell them on their website. They got them back in stock. But
they say the wing bone calls are.
I heard a lot of that, but to me, it's more of a finesse.
Yeah,
like it's not as loud. It's kind of.
Well, you're sucking in on it
instead of blowing
out on it. So when you pull an air in, it's a lot. You can get loud on it, but it does. It makes, for some reason they say it makes a lot of, different tones and notes that that are really close to what a actual hen sounds like. One of the
old timers that was there in one of the seminars I sat in, he was talking about back in the day how they kept briar leaves. And I don't know if it was his daddy or his granddaddy, but he kept them soaking in a jar of water. And that's what he used. He could take that briar leaf, and they talked about it in one of the videos I watched that they showed there that people would use certain types of leaves off of plants because they're thin enough, and when they would keep them moist, they would vibrate when you put them in your mouth. So you could take that leaf, and it was mimicking a mouth call.
I got you.
That was before they ever made these, diaphragm calls.
Yeah.
They were using leaves, and I think they came back from like the Indians or whatever because they had some little reference to that, the type of calls they were using.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, that kind of stuff was like, man, people don't talk about that when they come to convention, but there's all kinds of stuff like that going on too.
Man, call them with a briar leaf.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
might have to try that.
You're gonna be putting on, don't put a poison ivy in your mouth.
No, yeah, that'd be bad. We probably won't be calling turkeys that season if I got it in my mouth.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. If you can make a sound with it that'll fool a turkey, I mean,
yeah, you had to figure out how to call them.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, so I'm gonna tell you, if you're planning on going, and if you're into turkey hunting or just like going and seeing all the new stuff, all the people, meeting people, going to seminars, stuff like that, go to the convention next year, because I will definitely want to go back. I mean, Thursday's the day to be there. That's the day you're going to walk around. That's the day you're going to see everybody. If you want to buy stuff, I recommend going and doing it that day. I went, not really, I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know it was so much of a buyer show, like a retail show is what I'd call it. To go and, I mean, there's people just toting bags of stuff out and getting pretty good deals on stuff. And they say back in the day, you get some real good deals. I mean, I didn't see anything crazy deal, but there was a lot of stuff there. I bought, there's 2 books that I wanted, and one of them was like a double book that Hunter Farrier did. And let me see, it was called 2 of them. I wrote them down here so I wouldn't mess the names up. But it's a combo book where you get both of them in one. It's called The Ballad of a Turkey Hunter in Any Given Spring Morning. But they did the Spring Legion. It's the guy that did the Spring Legion books.
Yeah.
And he was there signing books. And then at the turkey shop, Tom Kelly released, it was just released at this convention in 26. It's not a re-release of the 10th Legion, which is probably the most famous turkey hunter book out. Colonel Tom.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen him. I think he was there. I hate I didn't get to see sign a book. That'd have been awesome. But I wanted that because it was back when he released his first books, and I guess this was in the 70s. They didn't have too many copies of it. People started taking his book, copying it on copier machine, binding it all together and selling it. And on like bootleg. And so this is the bootlegger's version of his original book. That I guess he didn't sue the people. I don't know all the story. That would be interesting to find out how that went. What did he do with these people that are just because they wanted to spread the word about turkey hunting? They thought it was a great book, but there was limited copies. And if you can find one of those originals now, they're worth a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But they've re-released it and have new editions. I don't have one of the originals. I've got a re-release version, but it's another one of those, man, you read that, you're going to be a turkey hunter. It just makes you want to go out there and kill one of those birds.
Well, the way he uses words to explain, things in that book and stuff like that, it's just magical.
Oh, it is.
You almost can see it.
It's like you're there with him when he's telling you,
Yeah, it feels like you can see it yourself. But yeah, that's a good book if you've never read that one.
Shell, you know what Shell bought? Well, she bought some hoodies and T-shirts and stuff like that. There was a company there selling hides, and they were cool. So she bought a coyote hide, an otter hide, and a possum hide. Guess what she paid for the coyote hide now? Which I didn't think was bad. I don't know what the price.
I have no idea.
It was $100.
Okay.
I was like, man, $100. It's a big, beautiful coyote hide. I was like, man, you couldn't hardly pay me $100 to skin one of them nasty jokers.
No.
And not our coyotes.
No.
Mangy things. So I was like, that's $100. Man, that's worth $100. I mean, she's got an idea how she wants to use them for decor or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she was like, well, I want to, this otter one feels pretty cool too. They had some high dollar ones. Like they had some blue foxes that were just unbelievable, look cool. But then, so I think the otter hide, it's a big hide too. It's $100. And that's just something. We have some otters. We see them on our place. I ain't never seen any monsters. But we've got some pretty decent.
Yeah, we got some pretty good size ones.
And then the possum hide, she said, I just had to have it because it's, how opossum, when you look down on him, he looks cross-eyed.
Yeah.
The hide still looks like that. And I said, what'd you pay for a possum hide? She said, it was only like $30.
Hey, I was like, he
probably
wasn't that high.
There ain't no way I'd skin a possum for $30.
No, man. Because
you got to flesh it and tan it and do everything you got to do to it.
Well, when me and Randy had that trapping business, when I would catch animals out of, especially otters and beavers, he would flesh them out and tan the hides on them. And he was going to make a blanket and all that stuff. Yeah. But, man, it took him a long time to get that stuff done.
The only thing we've ever done was took coons, and then when we skinned them, we stretched them over a 2x4.
Yeah.
And salted them good. Then you come back and scrape them. And all. We didn't tan them. It's just how some old timer told me to do it, So we had some coons hides that I did like that, but it took a long time for that salt to work on them, and some of them molded and was nasty.
Oh yeah,
it was. I mean, it's a process. But
yeah,
I thought for the price, I said that ain't bad.
Yeah, there's no way I probably would have charged more for that old greasy possum than I would for the other two. They would have been about $1,000 to skin out that nasty thing. Ain't no way I'm skinning out no possum.
But they were cool. So she brought those back, and I mean, really the only thing I brought was I went by the turkey shop and got one of the shirts for the year, and I bought a couple of those books. I mean, I didn't spend too much money on stuff like that. I spent more mine on beer, water.
Did you see any calls that got released that were like new or innovative or anything like that that was different than what you see right now?
I mean, I didn't see anything really different. There's a ton of gobble tubes they released this year.
Tubes, yeah.
And I heard them. I can still hear them in my head now. And I'm just, man, I ain't sold it sounds that much like a gobble.
Yeah.
That was my thing with them. Even some of the videos you see people blowing them, I was like, it's all right. But man, does it really sound like a turkey gobble? And I guess it's depending on how good you can make it work. But I didn't think it was, from the way the turkey sound that I've been hunting. I mean, it's a little higher pitch.
Them things probably expensive too.
Yeah, they weren't. I didn't really price calls. I mean, I wouldn't. I looked at a bunch of them, and the ones that caught my eyes were the custom ones. They're not big name brand calls. It's somebody who's made it, and they just look cool. I kind of lean towards that stuff.
The inlay in the back of it, you got some kind of design.
I mean, I spent a lot of time at the Woodhaven booth. I like the wood. I mean, that's like I've got a Woodhaven glass. That's probably my favorite glass call, and then I like their mouth calls too. And some of the booths I couldn't get in. They were so like the Power Calls booth where Bo Brooks was. You couldn't get in that booth. It was packed all the time.
Yeah, he's pretty hot. They. I
got some. I like his calls too. I mean, for somebody starting out, I can make noise on them.
Yeah. He's got some pretty good mouth calls. I like. We were talking about that one time before. Which I don't. Does Rolling Thunder make a mouth call?
Yeah, they got mouth.
See, I haven't used theirs yet. I need to get one.
He sent us. I think he sent us some when we did that giveaway, and I actually talked to Jacob over there at Rolling Thunder, and he's like, "Man, I want to do something else with y'all this year, so hopefully we're gonna do something cool."
Yeah, I need to get some of their mouth calls.
That was probably the highlight of the whole NWTF for me. Was we kind of know those guys. We got a relationship with them. And so going and hanging out with them, and then they had two guys that were that made it to the finals in the calling. And so every day they were bringing whatever awards they brought that day over. And we were there, it's high-fiving. Everybody's excited. They're going to the finals. A lot like a barbecue competition if you make it to the end to try to win the grand. And then when we went to that, and then I think Hunter won the first. I think I'm pretty sure that was his name. I'm sorry if I messed that up. But anyway, one of their guys won first, and one of them was fourth, and it was like winning the Super Bowl for those guys.
Yeah.
And so it was like once that happened, it was game on. Like Spence came running down there. Like I guess they went and got them. They weren't even in there listening to them, but they went and got them and said, "Y'all need to get down there." And so they come busting in the room, when they're announcing, and then it just erupts. When they called the second place guy, it was like everything went crazy. And so then I was like, "Oh man, this fixing to be a party." And so that night we got to go. Well, let me back up. Friday night, Mossy Oak had a party down at Luke Combs' place. And so we went down after we went to the show on Friday. It was so crowded. I did what I wanted to do there that day. And I had that meet and greet with the OB people. That's the meet and grills people, and talked to a bunch of people and took pictures and all that stuff. I was like, man, let's go to Broadway. I got some wristbands to get in this Mossy Oak thing. Well, you couldn't, you had to be 18, you had to be 21 to get in. And we had Michael with us.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, dang, that knocks us out. So before 8 o'clock, you could go in any of those bars with the minor. And so we took him down to Broadway, and we were going to dinner that night. So we went to Eric Church's bar, Chief. He got to kind of see what a Nashville bar was like, and to go inside, and there's a dude playing music on every floor and all that stuff. You can imagine how it is. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went and ate sushi at this place. Sushi was awesome. It was, I think you've been to one of those. I don't know if you've been to one in Nashville, but I think you went to one when y'all went to Indiana one time.
Indiana?
Blue Sake Sushi or whatever.
I think that's what it was.
It was fine sushi. It was really good.
Yeah, that's one of the best sushis I ever had.
Really good. So we went to dinner, and then instead of going to Luke Combs' bar where the big party was, we went back to the hotel. Called it an early night because I still had all day Saturday. And I was like, and some friends went, Jody and Rachel. They ended up going. And so the whole thing, I said the party was awesome, all that, but like Luke Combs ends up coming out and playing at the thing, at his own bar, and they're,
you couldn't even get around him, could you?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there.
Oh,
that was a letdown for me. I didn't. When I found that out, I was like, man, I should have sent my kid back to the hotel. He's old enough. And so the next night, I told Rochelle, I was like, look, if we get tickets to this Shin thing, I want to go to it because you never know what's going to happen, And so, and then the Rolling Thunder guys had already won. So when we went out to get our ride, they were out there fixing to get in their ride, and they were wound up.
Yeah.
He's like, where y'all going? Y'all want to come party with us? And I'm so, we're going to Shin. I said, that's where we're going. So we all went down there and left Michael with like the DoorDash money or whatever.
Hotel.
Yeah. So whatever you do, don't leave the property.
Yeah.
So we go down there and it's so crowded, man. Like it's not an old man's place. Like, we to get a beer, you had
made
to
you feel old being in
crowd.
there.
It was cool. It was jam packed. Music was loud. Ladies was dressed up, but it's all people in their 20s. Yeah. You know what I mean? And here I am, 50 years old. And so we kind of all gathered up, and I found a little place over in the corner we could hang out and hide out at a little bit and go take 30 minutes to go get a beer. Well, a couple of the guys said, man, y'all want to go, Spence and them, they done said the heck with this. They ain't staying there.
Yeah.
So they left, and Jacob was hanging out with us, and he said, man, Spence just texted me and said they're over at this place called Scoreboards right across from the hotel. One of the coolest bars I went in Nashville, man. This place is, I tell you what it's like. It's like Floribama down on the line down there. It's like they started out with the old bar.
Scoreboards.
It's called Scoreboards. And they just started, I guess they ran out of room, so they just started making other bars. And it might be, plywood and plastic sheets and patio heaters.
Yeah.
It was the coolest place. It was like being on a bar down at the coast. And the dude playing music in there would play anything. And those guys just had it was a party. It was my kind of place. It was low key, dark, lit. You don't know, I still don't know how that place is laid out. It's just turns and going in buildings out here and going across some gravel here.
Was it over there by the Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, right behind Cracker Barrel. Right behind.
I know which one you're talking about.
Dude, it was awesome. It was awesome. I would go back there every time I go to Nashville. I don't know if it's like that all the time or just because a bunch of turkey hunters were there. But we ended up, that was Saturday night, and we stayed in that place. I don't know, it had to be 2 a.m. And I had to drive back the next morning. It was way later. Our plan was to stay out till about 10. Oh yeah, it was a good night. It was a good night.
Shell drove home.
We ended up with a regular taxi. I ain't rode in a regular taxi forever, but I stepped outside. I was like, we had to call an Uber because we just needed to go back over to the convention hotel.
Yeah.
It wasn't too far, but you don't want to walk it. It's a long ass walk, and it was raining. So there was a taxi sitting there. I said, taxi, the jerk pulled up.
I had to walk it. I had to walk at one time. We stayed over at that Fuse Sports Bar a little too long, and all the shuttles and stuff ended.
Oh, man. Yeah, because there's 2 hotels right over there.
Yeah. And then we were staying across the street this time. We wasn't staying over there.
Oh,
and
dude.
I had to walk from that all the way up and cross over that 4-lane highway to get back to our hotel, man. It was terrible.
Oh, I bet it was. Because, traffic was so bad that night after the thing let out. It was, we left on Saturday. We knew we were going to go to that party, so we took Michael to an early dinner. Went to a chicken joint. I think it was called Party Fowl. It wasn't nothing special. It was cool. It was like hot Nashville hot chicken type joint, sports bar. But, man, it was 10 minutes away, and it took us an hour coming back because that convention had let out.
Yeah.
And traffic got so bad. You know how it is at Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
The Uber driver said it ain't never this bad. The whole mall, there was no parking spot. Now, this was Valentine's night. Real special night for us turkey hunting guys with our wives. But we finally got back, and then we let it settle down before we went back out, and it wasn't too bad after that. But if you go back up there, you got to go to that Scoreboards place, dude. You love it. It's our kind of bar.
Did you wind up taking Shell somewhere nice to eat Valentine's, or did y'all just hit the chicken place?
We went for Valentine's morning. We went and sat down in the lobby and had coffee together. That was our Valentine's. No roses, no nothing. I bought her a Shin shirt and some hides. That's what she got for Valentine's.
That's a good Valentine's present.
She was happy.
Yeah, that's.
But yes, we had a big time, man. And when I go back, yes, was there a ton of young people there doing all the influencer stuff? Yes, there was a lot of that.
Yeah.
But a lot of other cool stuff too. There wasn't. I didn't see anything negative. The only negative thing was the cost, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
That's going to keep a lot of people from being able to do it.
That
costs so much.
Yeah, that hotel's expensive anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
if you stay in there, you eat in there, if you have a few drinks or something like that, it's expensive inside of that Opryland hotel. Beautiful place, nice place, but it is it'll cost you a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. It ain't cheap. The rooms wasn't cheap. The stuff wasn't cheap when you got there. You just could be prepared. But definitely go check it out. I mean, they had other food options there. I mean, they had all kinds of food trucks. So they probably had 20 food trucks outside. That was where the best deals were on food.
Yeah.
Like you could go out there and it wasn't crazy expensive. Their bottles of water are only $3. We figured that out.
I'm wondering how many people were running in and out of there.
Oh, well, that was kind of in between going to the outer buildings where the dog show and outside stuff.
Yeah.
So you had to walk by it all.
Oh,
it was set up on purpose.
Yeah.
It was set up on purpose. They let those people come in every day because really the hotel couldn't feed that many people. There's no way.
Yeah.
Their restaurants couldn't hold it. It was too many people for it. So they had to have some other options. But I never felt like I had to wait a long time for anything other than that down on Broadway. And that's just Broadway in Nashville.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, it was all good and fun. Sunday we come back. I think we checked out about 9:30, 10 o'clock, hit the Bojangles up right off the interstate, got that spicy chicken and biscuit and put her in the wind. And coming back, it only took like 3 hours, 15 minutes. So it wasn't like had a bad trip on the way back. But.
Yeah, you was, I imagine that did feel like a lot less time running down the road and making it back in 3.5 hours instead of 6 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It made it a whole lot better.
Did you come around 69 coming back, stay off 55?
Yes, I did. I came around that way. I always try to go that way coming back around because I always see deer and turkey and stuff out there in them fields. I'd rather look at that than going right through Memphis.
I dodge 55 as much as I can. They put that 69 in. I hated it, but now I love it.
It says like it'll never tell you it's faster going around that way, but the ride's better. There's never traffic.
A lot of more stuff to look at. Not near as much traffic, man. Right. And it dumps you out on the east end.
Yeah, you're
Memphis
out there
over there.
You're out there to Arlington, so you avoid all.
You dodged all that mess. Yeah.
So while I was gone, what did you get into? Y'all getting ready to do some burning, aren't we?
Well, while you was drinking beer and listening to the turkey call contest, we was working.
You didn't go rabbit hunting?
Yeah, I did go rabbit hunting one time.
Did you?
Yeah, we went rabbit hunting. We had a pretty good day. I think we wound up killing like 6 or 8 rabbits, early one morning, and we come out from there, and I don't know. Me and Will had to be back kind of early. They stayed around and hunted a little while. It got warm, so the dogs didn't. They were getting hot and they weren't acting right, and so luckily me and Will left because they hunted the rest of the day, and I don't think they killed anything. So me and Will came on back, and then this week we've been cutting in fire lanes, man, getting ready to burn. We've
putting that blower to the test.
Yeah, so we've acquired a mulcher and a skid steer last year, wasn't it? So some of the places that we go into, it's not going to make it. Those gullies and things like that. I don't feel comfortable taking it down those gullies and trying to climb straight back up. I don't think the piece of equipment will do it. I'm pretty sure it won't. So pretty much we have to get in there and we have to do it by hand, cutting in these little fire breaks. So, chainsaws, weed eaters, freaking leaf blowers, man. And you just kind of pack all that stuff in and you just kind of work down the, like one of our fence lines. That's where I was kind of describing that area. It's a lot of gullies and stuff like that. And just the terrain is bad, but we got to burn it. It's part of the property we're going to burn. So got to get a break in there somehow. So me and Will just went in there with, hand tools and pretty much done these breaks with the hand tools.
So in spots like that, do you think most folks could just take tools like that and make a decent fire break?
Yeah. So, like one of the first things me and Will did, like I said, we had a leaf blower, a chainsaw, and a weed eater. Those are the 3 pieces of equipment that we had. And we went in, first off, kind of you decide where you're going to put the lane at. What's the easiest, path to take? How can you still watch the fire and watch the brakes and stuff like that without being, in a hole or, sitting down in the bottom of a ditch or something like that. So we figured out where we were going to put it at, came in there, took the chainsaw first, cleared out a, pretty good path, down through there, 6 to 8 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came back, and what Will would do is he would go in some of those places where there was some grass growing or maybe some briar or something like that. He just took the weed eater and weeded it down to the dirt. And then I come back through, catching the litter that was on top of the ground and blowing all the leaves away from,
tornado machine.
Yeah. We got that Echo leaf blower. I don't remember what size it is, but man, that thing right there is a beast.
Well, I mean, it works great for blowing off when the leaves come down in the fall and they get on your trails. It's got covered up with clover.
Yeah.
I started using it for that, but also to blow all that debris off. So if you get it down to the dirt, that fire ain't going to come across it, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. You get the leaf litter. As long as you can get the leaf litter away, out away from it 6 to 8, feet, get you a lane wide enough that you're comfortable with. And get any kind of little brown grass, dead grass that's laying in there. You hit it with a weed eater and stuff like that. You definitely don't want deadfall trees laying on the side of because if they catch fire, those deadfall trees, you don't cut them down now, you're going to be in there cutting them down when they're on fire.
Yeah.
And me and Rob had to do that last year, and, we might near got burned up doing it.
We had several of them that fell the wrong way. You never know. I mean, are you going through there kind of eyeballing, hey, this is a dead tree. It looks like it might fall this way. Let's go ahead and lay it down.
Yeah. You just ease up through there and you find anything that's like, if you find hollow trees you want to save, because some trees are hollow and still alive. Like we found some oak trees that were, had holes in the bottom of them. Well, that fire can get up in them and burn them, and
it creates a chimney.
And then it'll, it may burn it to the ground. If it's rotten enough on the inside. So what me and Will would do is we just take the leaf blower and go around that tree.
Yeah.
And get it out about 6, 8 feet away from the base of that tree. That way the fire didn't get up there to that hole.
Now you got you.
Now we saved the tree.
Yeah. Or you got you a place to put some coon traps, catch some coons living in it.
But you also, you're also looking at just dead stuff. If you got anything that's dead, things like that, you want to break them off and drop them over in the woods, and that way they're not falling when they're on fire, because that sucks, man. Because once you start the fire and it gets up that tree, if that tree falls over across your lane, and it will, if it falls across it, it'll start a fire on the opposite side, and now you're fighting that.
Yeah, well, that takes me to my next point. What do you need to consider before you drop that match and start that fire? Because that's one thing right there. Trees falling across your brakes. I mean, you got to have eyeballs on them. You can't just go out there and start a fire. That's the main point. But
no,
what do you think? Some of the important things to consider.
So, when you're doing these fire breaks, you definitely considering the deadfall that's there, the possibility of it. Like I said, hollow trees and things like that, they're going to spit embers all night, right on the edge of your fire lane. You want to blow leaves away from those, keep those from getting up. But you want to decide where you want to put your fire lanes. You want to get those cleaned off best you can, get that deadfall down, get those little, like I said, those hollow trees, leaves blowed away from them, and then from there, you kind of play it out in your mind, like where are we going to start at? What kind of wind do we want? Kind of play it out in your mind. You kind of decide like which direction do you want the wind to come from? Where are you going to try to light this thing at? Where do you want a back burn at? Where do you want your header fire coming from? You try to catch that wind if you can. Not always possible. You get in the springtime or this late in the year.
Changes.
Everything changes. Yeah, the winds will be out of any freaking direction right now. I mean, we're supposed to be 70 degrees Saturday, so the wind's more likely going to be out of the south.
Southwest.
Really don't want to be burning I don't want to burn on a south wind in those hardwoods. So you kind of, you break, I've got our place broke up into sections where we can burn it in sections. So we can burn this 50 acres. And if the wind's not right, or I'm a little worried about my fire breaks, running a header fire into that fire break, we can wait on the right wind to do that at. But yeah, those are some things to consider. And then you got to consider how dry is it? And a lot of this stuff, you have to have a burn supervisor there, somebody that is certified to do this burning. You can't just.
I can't just run out there and say, I'm going to burn.
No.
Light my woods on fire.
You can. Well, that's on you. Whatever you damage, you're going to be in trouble. But if you don't have a permit to burn, if the fire department sees it, they're coming anyways. They're going to put it out and fine you.
So you got to pull a permit, or you got to go get a burn permit.
Yep. You get a burn permit.
Talk with hire a burn specialist.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Somebody certified to do it.
Yep. And there's people out there that do it. You'd be surprised how many of them are out there. Maybe a lot of people probably in your community that, if you live where we are, forestry type people that can do this stuff. So they're educated and been to class and all that stuff, and they had a certification. So what I do is I let Rob take our permit. He goes and get it notarized. He fills out everything, what days we're going to burn between. So we have a 30-day window. And then he, lets me know, here's some days right here. The weather looks good, but we still had to get out there and check the wind. So we have this little meter that we go out on the highest point on your property, and we'll set up there and we'll hold it for just a few minutes, and it'll check the wind speed, and we check it from different directions. And you want to make sure that you got the wind direction that you want. You're not having those swirling winds where they're changing, and because we ran into that last year.
Absolutely.
We got in there last year, and
leaves get on fire. That wind will catch them, it'll swirl them, and set them down on the other side of your brake.
Yeah, we were supposed to have like a west wind, like maybe 10 miles an hour, which is fine. You want that because you want your fire to be carried. If it's no wind, it's just gonna sit there. I mean, it will burn, but it's not gonna carry through like you want it to. But we were burning last year and got in there. We had a 10-mile-an-hour wind. Me and Rob checked it. We burned this one area, and then we jumped over to this other area to start burning. As soon as we started burning that other area, man, I mean, we lit it up, and I don't know what happened. There was not supposed to be any winds that were at that speed, but they wound up getting up around 25 miles an hour, and we'd already lit it.
Nothing you could do then.
There was nothing we could do.
Yeah.
You talking about, like, pucking your butthole, man. I was puckered up because that went from it was still controlled fire, but it went to raging through them woods so quick, and that air got up under it, man, and it was taking off. It was going fast and hard. And I mean, we had flames in the woods that was over your head, and that's a little intimidating. But yeah, and then you had, wind was swirling a little bit. We had the fire jump once or twice, had to get over on the other side of the brakes and get them put out. And yeah, it's a lot to consider. You got to have enough eyes too. You got to have enough help to do this. Can't just go out there and do it, and can't do it by yourself.
Well, we had the neighbors calling. That was one thing. We did. Well, that was one thing I put on my notes here. It's like, well, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and let your neighbors know when about you gonna be burning, so they don't panic.
Yeah, you definitely gotta tell your neighbors. Just being courteous. You don't have to tell them, but you need to tell them. Just being courteous to them, because you don't want them being worried and calling the fire department or trying to call you and
see if you need help.
Yeah,
which is great. It's
or coming over and putting the fire out for you.
We got
you done lit the fire and they're over trying to beat it out. But yeah, letting your neighbors joining property, let them know that you're burning. It's just a courteous thing. Especially if you have any kind of house or anything like that around you, it's good to try to let them know that, don't worry about it. It'll be smoking for a few minutes, but
it's gonna
the wind will carry it on, and you'll be fine. Just the house is not on fire and the property is not on fire, by accident. It's on purpose. But those are the things to consider, and definitely have enough help there, because you have 1 to 2 guys lighting the fire, depending on how big a piece of property it is. You may have more. But you need guys to kind of stand back. They don't really have to do anything. They're just eyeballing that fire and just watching that break and making sure that fire burns back into those woods far enough that you feel comfortable that you can walk off from it.
Yeah, and move on to the next
and move on down the road. Yeah, keep on moving down. Just keep watching. So you're going to space those people out down the breaks, and you'll go down through their lighting, and they'll kind of watch it. And you got radios. You got to have you some radios with your cell phones. We have radios because some of our cell phones don't work in areas down there. But then you're constantly communicating. Does everything look good? Is everything all right? Yeah, I'm good over here on the west side. I'm good down here. I'm good down here. And having those people placed out and people you can trust to be able to watch that fire and not let it get out. And that's another thing. You're not always burning on, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Sometimes you got to go down there and you got to do it on the weekends on your days off or something like that. You got to do it when the weather allows you to do it. There's no, you can't just schedule and say, hey, we're 2 weeks from now, we're going to burn on this Saturday or Friday. You got to watch the weather and make sure the conditions are right. The other thing to consider is, what they call like the updraft or the mixing height. That's where the smoke rises up above the canopy of the trees and stuff and gets up in the air, where it's not like blowing across the ground and just pushing up out in the roads or up into people's houses or anything like that. So there's a lot of stuff goes into setting up a burn plan.
That's stuff that most people I don't think about.
No.
You know, when I think of doing it, it's like, oh, we're just going to go out there and, you know, try to clear out some paths around the woods we want to burn, and we're going to put a fire to it. And it ain't that easy.
No.
A little more consideration goes into it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in some places like me and Will have cut secondary, and, you know, we cut some secondary lanes there just in case, you know, because
if it gets over one,
I got another one back there to catch it, and where it ain't gonna go very far. So we're very cautious when we do this burning. You have to be, because if it gets away from you, we have a lot of pasture around us. That's what concerns me.
Yeah,
we have a lot of grass fields,
especially a neighbor's pasture.
Yeah, it's a neighbor's pastures that I'm worried about. Is not necessarily ours, but it's the neighbor's pasture. They got a lot of sage grass and, you know, low growing dry grass out in these cow pastures and things. And man, if the wind gets behind it and it jumps over in some of those, you liable to get, you know, 40 acres of fire burnt for you, or pasture burn up before you ever even get it out.
Yeah.
If you can get it out, you know, you got to get in touch with the neighbor, try to get on his property, get equipment over there.
Oh, yeah.
Get people over there. It's something to think about. If you take time on the front end, do your fire breaks correctly, and try to, you know, just be extra cautious. And it takes a little bit of work, but you can get it done. You can, this is one of the best things to do on your property. It's going to help you and going to keep you from spending a lot of money with equipment, bush
cost effective wise.
Right. Yeah. Cost effective wise, burning is one of the things that I love doing it. I love doing it. I'm always nervous about it, and I always will be, but, when you set that fire and it takes off, you know, it's one of those things, man. It's fun to watch and see. And then the effects of it afterwards are really neat to see, you know, how it'll change your landscape and stuff like that, you know, because we went from we were burning that cow pasture. Well, it was old cow pastures, what we had, you know, we burn it. This will be the third or fourth year that we burn it. I think third, that we burnt the entire thing. And we've had so many different plants come up out there that it changed the whole
native plants that you want.
Yeah. Change that whole landscape out there. You know, we got a lot of briar that came up. We got a lot of, you know, goldenrod and some other things like that have come up out there that are more, you know, beneficial for the wildlife and stuff like that.
That's exactly what you do. It's habitat improvement.
Yep.
I mean, it also improves the stand of your hardwoods.
It does. When you run that fire through there,
out of there,
yeah,
it's going to let your bigger trees thrive, because you're taking away some of that competition from that new growth, and then it's letting more sunlight to the ground, it's getting all that debris off of it, or majority of it. We're hoping to be able to put it on a rotation where, like you said, you've got ours broke up where we don't have to burn it all every year. We can let some of it grow a little, and then some of it, you know, we'll take back down and just keep it cycling. And it's just going to improve all the, you know, hopefully the hunting, the trees that are there, the landscape in general, make it a place where, you know, wildlife to thrive.
Yeah. It's a work in progress when you're doing these fire lanes, burn plans and stuff like that, because eventually we will get into just a rotation. To where we'll burn like half the pasture and leave half the pasture, and we'll burn half of these hardwoods and leave half of them. But we got to get everything established. You know, those first couple of times burn, we may have to do a growing season burn, like in fall burn. Like in, you know, summertime or late fall, to, you know, and just kind of kill out 40 acres of ground that, you know, we normally would deer hunt that would be thick, and burn it up, you know, just to promote some kind of new growth in there if it's not working correctly.
Yeah.
But that's why you want to break it up into like sections too. You know, we don't have to do that to your entire property. You can do it to this, you know, 10 or 20 or, you know, 50 acres over here, and leave this, you know, over here is still thick and bedding and stuff like that. And then this right here will, you know, it'll catch up next year and look a lot better, and then do the other side. Yep. So it's always a work in progress, burning and staying on burn plan and stuff like that. But it works. I'm very happy with it. Saves us a lot of money on diesel fuel, manpower and stuff like that, because we had to go out there and bush hog in pastures and, you know, and kill trees out in that pasture, hacking, squirting and stuff like that. It would just, man, it would take forever.
Good chemicals too, because you got to spray all that stuff. I mean, so you're saving money a natural way with something that fire is natural.
Yep. But it works, man, and it also brings the turkeys in.
It does.
They love it.
They love it. Yeah. Okay. Back to turkeys, Mikey. What do you got here? These push pull calls, what I always call them.
All right. So we did a video the other day. It should release here soon. So I bought push-pull calls from our local big box chain stores. I actually went to Academy, and I went to Sportsman's Warehouse that we have right around here. So I wanted to find, what they had available that was easy for a beginner to be able to call turkeys, or, just something easy to utilize. And I've used these before or seen them before. I used them for a little while. Had one in my pocket. I don't use it no more. But
is there one? Do you keep one of these in your bag?
No, not anymore. I don't. Not anymore.
Who are these type calls good for?
All right, so these, if you got a kid that's wanting to get into it, he's wanting to call his own turkey, young kid or something like that, these are good. If you just cannot call birds, you want to go this year, you bought the gun, you bought the flies, you bought the the vest or whatever, a seed or something like that to go sit down, and you got birds on your property, you want to try it without having to spend a heap of freaking money, and just want to go out there and try your hand at turkey calling. These are the calls for you right here.
So it's a beginner call.
It's a beginner call. Yeah. Next year, if you want to stay in it and do it, try your Malcom, try your slate call. There's box call. But these, you can go buy this. You can go buy a couple of these out of the store and go right to the woods with them.
So do you think some of them, obviously some of them are going to sound better than the others.
They do. So, setting up here, I've got HS Strut. I got a Quaker board. So those were the two cheaper ones. Mm-hmm. And you can tell just looking at them.
What price point are those? $30?
This one was $15.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cheap.
Which was HS Strut. The Quaker board was $20 or $25. And then when you got into these higher end ones, which these folks been around a long time, make great calls. I'm not saying that Quaker board and HS Strut don't, but their push button call wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But Nightingale has this one right here, and it was about $36, I believe. And I think this Rolling Thunder one was about
I didn't even know they made one.
I didn't either. I found this one in Academy.
Really? Okay.
And I was really, really surprised because I walked in there and I was looking for push button calls, and they did have some of the same ones. But I was trying to mix it up and get some different ones. Maybe somebody, and they did. Academy carried, this Rolling Thunder one. And I was like, wow, look at here. Well, man, I got a hidden gem down here.
Yeah.
So I pulled it off, and I was like, I knew it was going to be a good call because we know those boys and we've seen them, doing their job and fielding calls before. So, but yeah.
So you tested out all four of them?
Yeah, tested out all four of them. And the conclusion of that thing was, this Nightingale and the Rolling Thunder, the two you want to try to go with.
Yeah. Do you feel like you could take those out there and maybe trick a tom?
I could. Yeah. You could too. Yeah. You could too. But yeah, these other two, they're a little cheaper built. You know what I mean? That was
one of the first turkey calls I ever bought right there.
It's not that they won't make the sound. It just, sometimes you struggle with them. Like one of them, the push rod, I don't remember which one it was. It may have been this HS Strut, but the push rod kind of kept hanging on me. And,
yeah.
I was getting aggravated with it because it wouldn't pop back out like I wanted it to. And I was messing with the spring, trying to get it to, tighten up a little bit and reposition it. But anyways, kind of the same thing with the Quaker boy. It's got a spring on it. And when I was hitting it, all I could hear was a spring going ying, ying.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I hit it, I was like, well.
Had a little high pitch to it, huh?
Yeah. It's a good design, but you need a different spring. That was making some noise. But if you're going to the woods, these two right here, Nightingale and Rolling Thunder, you can go right in the woods and start hunting with those.
That's pretty cool. We're going to have to put that to the test. Well, actually, we got an idea of what to do with things. Yep. After you went and got them from sporting goods stores, we said, heck, let's do a giveaway. So you got some info on what we're going to do?
Yep. So we're going to give away these calls. We're going to give you one of the good ones and one of the not so good ones.
let you test them.
Yeah.
Because we're going to do like a first and second place.
Yeah, we're going to do a first and second on the calls. We will do a third place.
Give them something.
Third place is going to get something. I think we'll give them away. We'll give them some seasoning and a hat or something like that.
Yeah, some swag for participating.
And we'll probably give these number one and number two a little bit of that stuff.
So what do you got to do to win one of these fancy push-pull calls?
So what I want you to do is I want you to go on our Outdoors Community Club on Facebook.
It's the Buck Junkies Outdoor Club.
Yep. Look there for a pinned post at the top. So it'll say, it'll probably say something like, contest or something like that. Don't just post it on any of our, stuff that's on there.
Go to the official post.
Make sure you go on to the official post that we have for the contest.
It'll be pinned to the top.
That's right. So we're going to give these away. What I want you to do is go in there and tell me what your favorite or your best, that's right, best turkey gun setup is. 870 with a Jeb's choke,
shooting
what? Yeah,
whatever.
Bonelli with a Carlisle choke, whatever you got. All you need to do is go in there and make a post on that.
Your gun, your choke,
Yep.
your load.
Yep.
That's all you got to put on there.
You can give me the gun and the choke. You can give me the load too if you want to.
to.
You're not gonna get dinged for not giving me the load, but your best, your favorite turkey setup for a gun.
All right, and we're gonna throw in some seasonings and probably caps with these calls too. So there'll just be some cool Buck Junkie stuff, and we want y'all to check out. Whoever wins, we want them to give us their review of this call. But all you got to do is find that post at the top of the Buck Junkies Outdoor fan page on Facebook. Comment on it, or go ahead and like it. I don't care if you share it. You can share it if you want to.
Like it and share it.
Like it and share it. Yeah,
like it and share it.
Comment your shotgun, your choke, and if you want to, your shot. What you shooting?
And it don't have to be one you have. Maybe it's one you want. Whatever you think is your favorite.
It don't have to be. Yeah, it don't have to
turkey
be
setup.
It don't have to be the one you shoot. It could be whatever you think's the best.
But this contest will end on Sunday, March 15th. So we'll be making a decision that Monday on who it is and shipping those out. We'll announce the winners at the podcast. So make sure you listen for your name. And good luck to y'all.
Yeah, good luck. Y'all participate on that. We're gonna make sure top 3 people get something. And we'll be doing some more of these too. I got some more stuff in there in my office that I got at a turkey banquet. I think will make a cool giveaway too.
Yeah. So
hopefully Rolling Thunder's we're gonna do some stuff with them here later on in turkey season too. We got a lot of stuff coming up during turkey season.
Yeah, we got a busy season.
Oh, you know what I've been excited about before we get out of here today? Man, you been seeing all these wood ducks hit the pond?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know where all these ducks come from, but we've got one old busted in the pond has official name now. It's now known as Shell Pond.
Shell Pond?
She told me I don't have nothing named after me down there.
So, me either.
Yeah, I don't either. But she said, y'all got Mark Plot, y'all got Waylon Stan, y'all got all these names for these things. There ain't nothing named after me. So I said, well, you know what? You like hanging out the pond. We're just going to call it Shell Pond.
Shell Pond.
Yeah. But there's an old duck box down there that's been there since we bought that property. And so I've been seeing these ducks. I mean, we're all about habitat. We want these animals to hang out and give them a safe place to live. So I started looking, and I wanted to talk about building a wood duck box and see what you thought about it. If you thought it was possible, if we could replace some of these wood duck boxes that are scattered out. I think that'd be a good thing for us to do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, everything's possible.
So I've been looking. There's some easy plans on there. We don't need it. Ain't like it's super difficult.
It's not super difficult.
The most interesting thing is when we get into the duck box.
Yeah, I mean, getting them out in the water.
How silty that pond.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking about. Like, how am I going to get this pole driven in the ground where it's not swaying back and forth?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm pretty sure that affects them. I don't want eggs flopping around in there. But
that one pole seems pretty sturdy.
Yeah, but it's way out in there, man. I've tried to walk out there before, and it is soft. It is soft.
It's quicksandy.
Yeah, you'll be up to your knees before you knew it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can get some of those out there, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's going to be a little project we'll have before it gets too warm, before the snakes come out, before turkey season gets here. We ain't got long, Mikey.
No, we're right here on it.
All right. Well, anything else you got today?
No, that's it, man. Y'all just go on there and y'all try to check out that contest. We'll get it posted here for too long, and don't miss out. So if you got a buddy that can't call, enter it and give this to him.
You may not want these calls, but we were thinking about it. If you got a kid,
if you
got somebody that's beginning in turkey calls, you want to get them interested in it or help them out, enter this and just give it to them. That'd be, tell them to enter it too. But somebody's going to get picked for it. So
yep.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll be back to do it again next week. But for then, we gone.